Hello everyone, this is Taryn with Wonderfully Made Handcrafting, and today I wanted to show you my process for my soft spine junk journal that I'm going to be using to work through Fit for the Masters use this month. So I've used a couple of different things here. I am using that canvas bag and also the tag bob kit, but I'm not going to use it exactly how you would think. We are creating a soft spine junk journal. Now I saw this process from Suzy at Shabby, so this is totally inspired by her. Make sure you go check her channel out because she does some amazing stuff. But I am just kind of following her instructions on creating little pages for this soft spine junk journal. I decided to use these mini file folders because they fit perfectly in my little tag bob front and back pieces. I am going to use those, but I'm going to cut them down a little bit so it doesn't look like a tag. So what I'm doing here is I'm laying each mini file folder open and then spacing them out just about 1/4 of an inch apart. They do get a little bit wonky because I'm not perfect, but that's okay because you won't be able to tell it in the end anyhow. So I'm using that center fold of the mini file folders to kind of guide me on where I want to stitch, and I'm just kind of guesstimating. You could definitely do this more precise, but honestly, I just wanted to get it done because I was so excited about this project. Sometimes when you're so excited about something, you just don't care about if it's perfect or not. And that's kind of where I was in this process. But it turned out really great, I think. So I am just adding all those file folders. I'm just doing 4 because I don't want it to be too chunky because you know me, I add a lot of chunk anyhow. And these 4 mini file folders will give me a ton of space to work with because you got to think you have the front and back side and the interior. Now, originally I was going to use different kind of pages, like an envelope cut from one of the papers from the paper pack and a bunch of other things, but this just made it a little bit more simple, and I couldn't find my postal die from Tim Holtz after coming back from the retreat, so I ended up ordering a second one because I couldn't be without it. That's one of my favorite die sets. And so anyways, you can add different kind of pages and that would make it fun as well. I plan on adding some envelopes kind of paper clipped to these mini file folders and whatnot, so it'll kind of look different in the end. But this is what the spine looks like right now, and then I'm cutting out a little bit more of this canvas to cover it up. I don't want people to see my stitching lines, and I want to add some more texture to this spine. And so I'm going to grab some cheesecloth. So this is going to be really fun. It looks like a big mummy cloth, obviously, and I'm just adding a little bit of distressed collage medium in the tube form first, but I am adding that canvas before I add the cheesecloth. So I really liked the red stitching on the canvas bags. I always do, and so I wanted to include that in my spine as well. And so I'm just kind of getting a look right here on what I want it to exactly look like on that spine. This has honestly been such a fun project. I have never made a junk journal like this, and it has to be one of my favorite kind of junk journals. So anyways, that canvas looked a little too white and clean for me, and so I'm kind of dirtying it up again with some frayed burlap like normal. And I protected my mini file folder cards with some, just paper backed behind it in case that distressed collage medium oozed through the fabric a little bit. I also suggest that you use Fabri-Tac. I ended up coming back and using Fabri-Tac for that specific portion just because it holds a little faster and I think a little bit better than the collage medium on fabrics. So this is obviously where I take the tag portion off these chipboard front and back covers. This is not perfect. So again, I was just so excited. So I'm using a metal ruler just to give me a guesstimate. These don't have to be perfect. And I'm using my X-Acto knife to try to break these off. This is a very thick chipboard, which is awesome for a front and back cover. I'm so glad that By the Will for God decided to change those covers for tag bobs. And now I'm just kind of getting a look at how this is going to look as a book. But I wanted to add some fabric to the front and back cover, so I decided to take out this fabric from By the Well for God. They had this as an add-on for this kit. It is made by Spoonflower and it is absolutely gorgeous. It matches some of the papers that By the Well for God released this month. I started out using Cocoina glue and would have used it all the way, except my glue stick ran out. So I decided to come over to this distressed collage medium, which worked just fine on the chipboard. So I don't want any frayed edges on these covers, so I decided to fold the fabric back onto the back side of these tags, and I will cover up those edges with some paper. I decided to use some distressed collage medium. It works, like I said, pretty good on this chipboard. I do use some clips to hold down the corners to make sure that they dry, because like I said before, it is not as fast drying as Fabri-Tac glue. And these clips are just perfect when you cover any kind of mini book or junk journal. This is a very similar process to covering one of those mini pocket Bibles from By the Well for God. So if you've seen one of those videos, I do go in a little bit more detail on how to do this, but it is a fairly simple process. So you see me here, I am using an index card and realize that it fits fairly nicely on the inside of these covers, and so I'm using that as a guide to cut out some of this paper that I dyed with some distress inks a while ago. I liked the color and thought it worked pretty good with this kit, and so I'm going to add this to the inside covers. So you'll see here in a minute that once I attach the spine and the pages, that the fabric does go over that paper. So if that's bothersome to you, this might not be the kind of junk journal that you want to do. I could have put the fabric behind that paper right there. However, then the paper would be extra lumpy as well. So if you don't want to see the spine fabric that's going to go on the inside, maybe skip this kind of junk journal, but I don't mind it and I think it is so fun. So anyways, I'm adding those clips again and some paper clips. If you don't have clips, paper clips work too, to those edges to hold it down for the time being. And then you'll see me here start stapling those fabrics together. Since I have so many fabric layers, I didn't want them, moving around, and with this gluing process, gluing it to the front and back cover, I wanted those to be cohesive. And so that's why I decided to add some staples. It's not necessary, but if not, make sure that all your pieces of fabric, if you're using multiple, are glued together and nice and secure. So I added the front cover. Now I'm about to add that second cover. Now this is the portion that I do come back and change to some Fabri-Tac glue. I'm not sure if I kept that in the video, but if not, make sure you're using Fabri-Tac glue on this section, I think, just because it is needing some nice, strong hold, and I just not sure distressed collage medium can do as good of a job. So anyways, this is what it looks like. So as you see here, you do see that fabric, but I don't care that much. And now we're going to start working on this front cover. So I had this fun little acrylic doctor's bag keychain from By the Well for God. This was part of the Tag Bob kit, and I changed up the chain a little bit that I had in my stash, so it was a little bit more of an aged chain or connection. And then I just added that with some a little safety pin from Tim Holtz. So he sells those mini safety pins, and so I just decided to add that to the fabric, which worked perfectly. And then I'm also going to add a second one eventually, but I'm just making sure that I like where everything is placed first off. And now you'll see me add that second little pin. This is just decorative. It doesn't hold anything together or anything. I just liked it. So anyways, I'm deciding if I want a third one or not, but decide against it because I have that doctor's bag kind of swinging there. And then I also had a vintage photo. So I thought this worked perfectly alongside this kit. And then there's also some Tim Holtz fabric. I believe this is from his Halloween line, actually. There are some ads for like Undertaker or whatnot, but they also had a bunch of like pharmacy and different kind of health ads in this fabric. And so I decided to use that alongside some more of this cheesecloth. I'm going to have to grab some more cheesecloth because it's pretty fun. If you like mummy cloth from Tim Holtz, cheesecloth is probably just as good. So anyways, I'm adding a little tiny cluster to this front cover and gluing that all down, making sure that hopefully that distress collage medium is not going to seep through the fabric, which it does a fairly good job. And then the rest is basically just putting together this cluster. So I'm kind of spreading out that cheesecloth and making sure that I can see it underneath the photo. I am just kind of spreading this distress collage medium around and making sure that it kind of folds over the photo as well. I really liked that look where, you know, the photo was on top, but things were still overlapping on it. And then I'm also going to add another piece of that cheesecloth because I felt like I was missing a little bit on the bottom portion. So I'm just going to cut a little bit off and stuff it underneath there. I also want to add a paper clip to the photo. Once I saw this all together, just felt like I needed a little bit more metal since I have the metal on the side as well. And that paper clip really pulled it all together. And that is it, guys. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me over on Instagram at Wonderfully Made Handcrafting. I'll try to link everything I use down below in the description. And I hope you have a wonderful day, guys. Bye.